Alright, so hello again. So let me just confirm if you guys are already in front of your computer. So just give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'll just check if you guys are already ready for the continuation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 out of 12, 7 out of 12. Alright, so I don't know with the others, but they'll just catch up to us, I guess. Okay, so this is where we have stopped. So exercise number 1. So it is asking us to revise this one using select case statement. So initially this one is in if statement. So what we will do is we will convert this one into meron na ba ako? Select case samples. Alright. So ulitin natin. Let me delete everything. Plus so that we can start at the very start. All right, so all we need is the existing designs or UI before. So we have the label. I guess before we were using a text box, but in here we're going to use a label. Okay, a label and then another two labels right here, and then a numeric up down. So this is the one that we're going to program. And oh, bakit nandito pa rin siya? Okay, so let me just copy this one. Copy and then paste it right here. Okay, let me just fix this one. Else if 31, else if letter, letter, bingo and if and sub if one. Let's go to the num. So we have to declare this one bin num as integer. And then this is numeric up down. That value that change. And num and num. Numeric up down, value change. There is something wrong with this one. Numeric up down. That value. All right, so there you go. So this is the working program using if else if statement. So we can bingo label 3, not 1. Okay, my bad. Let me replace that one. Okay, so there you go. So just like the old one, it worked as fine as it is. So it generates random numbers. I mean, not random. We're the one who's going to put a number, and then it will put the equivalent letter. Okay, but in here it is asking us to convert this one or revise this one using select case statement. So we are going to do that one step by step. So in if, instead of if, we're going to put that, replace that one by select case. Okay, and then the condition will be on the second row because right beside here is the variable num. Okay, and then here's now the condition. So for the case 1, okay, it should be ranging from 1 to 15. So again, instead of having this long algorithm right here in if statement, we can replace that one by the word 2. Okay, 1 to 15, and then we don't need this then right here, and then this will be executed. Okay. We don't need case. We don't need that one right there. So we only need the word case. So case 1 to 15, and then the statement. And then here is case, yeah, case 16 to 30. 16 to, oops. And then we don't need this then right here. And this one will become case, and this one will become 2. 2, and then 2. And then delete this then right here. And then this case, I mean this else right here will become case else. Okay, this is already the last condition and then the last statement. And then this end if right here is end select, I guess. Select end, yeah, end select. All right, so there you go. So let's try if it will still give us the same output. So yeah, so what we just did is we just converted the previous one into a select case statement. Okay, and then as you can also see, this one is much more simpler because the first case is just like this: case 1 to 15, case 16 to 30, 31 to 45, and so on and so forth. Okay, so did you guys get the idea so far on how to use and how to uh, convert or revise a if else statement into select case statement? So of course at first it's quite confusing since you're not the one who's doing the work. But once you're the one who's converting this one into select case statement, you will learn that this one is much more easier to use. Okay, rather than having the if statement. All right, so that's it for this exercise number one. This one actually has another exercise, which is exercise number two. It is asking us to convert this one using select case statement, but I will not do this one anymore since this one is quite easy. So all you need to do is change this one into select case, and then case, and then case else, and then uh, and select. Okay, and for the condition, it's still the same. Okay, just remove this if and then right here. Just put here grade is equal to B, grade is equal to C, grade is equal to T. Okay, and what else? And in here, instead of else only, just put here case else, just like what we did right here, case else. And then, yeah, that's it. You now have a converted version of uh, if statement into select case statement. Okay, so the same with exercise number three. So I will not discuss this one anymore since they are quite the same, just the same concept, just another condition and then a different statement. All right. But for the number four, exercise number four, you are the one who's really going to do this one, right from start up to the end. Okay, so there is no existing code of this one. So make sure to practice, your select case statement from the exercise number one, two, and three. Okay, and once you've got the idea and then the correct syntaxes, then you can now proceed and do this one because this exercise number four right here is actually your quiz number five. Quiz number 5 right here. Okay, fifth quiz, exercise number 4, case statement. Okay, so the due date of this one is June 18. So you have longer time to finish this one, but the earlier the better. Just submit this one before the due date. All right, so that you can have much more time to finish your final project, which is the lab number 9 and 10. Okay, so are we clear so far regarding with your quiz number 4? Okay, so this one is super simple. Here is the condition, and then here is the statement. Okay, So you can put the, you can display the statement onto a label or into a text box. So either of those two will be fine. Okay. So this could serve as your basis. Okay. So you can, let's say, put right here, uh, age below 7 is, what is that one? Yogurt. Okay. And then it will be displayed on label 3. And then 7 to 12 is potato chips. And so on and so forth. Okay. And then another exercise wherein it's asking us again to convert this one into select key statement. But I will not do this one anymore since they are super easy to do. Okay. So all you need to do is follow what I did in here. Okay. All right. So that's it for select key statement. Let's now proceed to the message box function. So we keep on, using the MSG box. Okay. So that one actually has a lot of parts, but the one that we're only displaying is the message and then the option OK and then the exit button. Okay, so you can actually change the title of that one. Okay, and then the type of icon or the choices of that message box. All right. So to make it simple, we have these three syntaxes or three parameters rather. The first one is the message, which is, the one that we are always changing. But we can also change the type, which is now the second parameter. Okay, what is this type right here? So we can change the icon type or the button type. So before we only have one option, but you can actually place three options like OK, cancel, ignore, retry, yes, no, and so on and so forth. So I'll discuss those types later on. And then you can also change the title of that one. Okay, because by default, whatever is the name of your program, that is the one that will be displayed as the title. Okay, so to give you guys an example, we have this example right here, MSG box followed by the close and open quotation. So once you close that one into quotation, that means that it is the message that you wanted to display in here. And take note that the message is always on the very first place or the very first parameter of this message box right here. So you cannot place this one onto the second one or the third one. So you have to strictly follow this syntax right here. So message followed by the type and then followed by the title. So for the type, we can actually put right here an icon wherein you can call that one using this function right here. So message box style that information. So yeah, that's how we put uh, this icon right here. And then the third one is the title, okay, which is now the word greetings right here. And then by default, it only has one option, which is the word, okay, since we didn't put any button type right here. But we can add more, okay. But before we go to that one, let me discuss the type of argument. So you can change that one via information, via critical icon, via question mark, or via exclamation mark. Okay, so you can use this symbolic constant right here. So message box style that critical, message box style that question, message box style that exclamation, and then the one that we are using right here is the message box style that information. Okay, which is being displayed right here. So if I will change this information into critical, then this will be changed into something like this. All right. If I change this information into question, then it will be changed into something like this. All right. So just to give you guys an idea, let's do that one on actual exercise tech keys. Do we have an example for that one? Message box sample box. Save. All right. So let me remove this one for message box style that. Let's say exclamation. Okay, so here's the message. Welcome to 2000. to VB 2005 Express, and then here's the type of icon that we are displaying, which is exclamation. And then this is the title, okay, of that message box. So let's see. So if I click me, it will show this critical, exclamation icon right here, and then the message, and then the title. Okay. So this is the one that you need to change to change the icon. Okay. So in here, you can use symbolic constant, or you can actually use the equivalent value of that one. So if you want to display a question, for example, then you can replace this word right here into a number 32. So let's try that one. So instead of this word right here, you can just put here 32. So that is the same with the message box style that question. Okay, so there you go. We now have a question mark icon right here. So you can use the symbolic constant right here, or you can use the value. Okay, so of course, if I were you, I'll choose value. However, if you're not familiar with, what is 16 again? Is it the question mark? Is it the exclamation? Is it the information? So if you're not familiar, then you can always use this symbolic constant right here, because you can easily read this one and remember. It's quite obvious. Message box tell that critical, then it will display critical. Message box tell that question, then it will display question. Unlike in values right here, so yeah, you're not sure if it's the correct icon that you wanted to show on the message box. Okay, but you can use any of those two, okay, to display this icon right here. Okay, so are we clear so far and how to put or change the type of argument? So again, if you have a question, so feel free to ask me anytime. Okay, just raise your hand or just speak right away. All right, so that's it for the type of argument. So let's proceed now to the type of buttons that we can put on our message box. So by default, if you didn't put anything, so by default, it will give us this option right here, which is the word OK only. Okay, but if you want to add another option like OK cancel, then you can put this one, message box style that OK cancel, or the value 1. Okay, so in here, after the icon, okay, just put another comma, and then you can put here the value. Okay, let's say 1 for the OK cancel, or you can just put here, is that one again? The symbolic constant, say message box style that OK cancel. Okay. Oops, why are we having error? I forgot to remember. I forgot to mention that a type of argument is always combined with each other. So instead of using a comma, we should use a plus sign. Okay, so there you go. Don't have an error right here now. So the first one is the icon, and then the second one is the option that you can include onto your message box. So let's test this one. So there you go. We have here the question mark, which is the 32. And then we have here the message, and then the option OK cancel. All right, so in here you can also put message box style abort, retry, ignore, yes, no, cancel, yes, no, retry, cancel, or those numbers right here. Let's say we wanted to display yes, no, cancel. Let's choose 3. So instead of using symbolic constant, let's use the value. So 32 plus 3. Save it and then start the program. And so there you go. Okay, so we now have the options yes, no, cancel right here. Now, the question that you might want to ask is, what now, sir? What how are we going to program those buttons, like the word yes, the word no, and then the word cancel. So if you guys are going to take a look on this one right here, where is that one? So here's the first approach. You can use the symbolic constant, which will give you this output, or you can use the value, okay, which will give you the same result. So if you wanted to get the value of that selected button, so here's the corresponding values. So if you click OK, okay, it will give you a value of 1. Okay, so where will it be stored? So that depends on your variable. Okay, so let's say if I click OK right here on the type, it will be stored on the variable name. So depending on your variable declaration. Okay, and then that's the one that you can now start to compare, like if var name is equal to 1, then blah blah blah, what are you going to do? Okay, what are the statements that you're going to do if it's equal with that condition? So the same with number 2. So what if it's equals with number 2? Okay, what are you going to do? What are the statements that you're going to put below it? Okay, so the same with 3, which is the option abort. Okay, so what important is it will return a value wherein we can use that value to program, and then we can set a condition and then a statement that we wanted our program to do. Okay, so yeah, that's how we program those options or buttons right here. Okay, so are you guys getting the idea so far? So let's have an example for this one later on if we still have time. Okay, but for now, let's finish the remaining example. Okay, which is the input box later on. So yeah, there's another example wherein we're going to store the value, returning value of this yes no right here. So if I click yes, it will return a value of 6, which will be stored on variable x. Okay, if I click no, it will return a value of 7. Okay, and another example, okay, which is quite the same. So we've used here the values, okay, instead of symbolic constant. So now let's now proceed to the input box. So to make it simple, if we have a message box wherein it can return a value of 1 to 7, 1 to 7 only, because that's the one that's in here. So 1 to 7. But in input box, from the word input, we can put any character on it. So this will return a string. Okay, so it could be a number, could be a special character, it could be a letter, or anything. Okay, and then from here, of course, you can store this one into any variable that you want, and then you can retrieve or display that one into a text box or a label or into a notepad. That's even possible with this visual basic right here. Okay, so here is the syntax for the string var. Okay, so here is the one that we're going to store the returning value, okay, of that input box. And then here's the parameters or the syntaxes. So the first one is the message. It's quite the same with our message box. But in here, it's now followed by the title. Okay. So we don't have icons right here. We don't have additional buttons right here. So this one only has a button of OK and cancel. So no other available buttons that you can do with the input box, because this will only store. If you click OK, it will be stored onto this string var. If you click cancel, it will do nothing. And then the third one is the default value. So this default value right here is the value inside of that input box or text box. Okay, so to give you guys an idea, here's the simple example. So we have this variable name in which it is the one who's going to receive the returning value. And then we have here the message, which is the input name. And then the second one is the title, which is data entry. So if you didn't put anything for the default value, def value right here, so of course the default value is nothing, okay, or a blank, just like this one, okay. But if you will put a default value, let's say Juan de la Cruz, okay, oops, Juan de la Cruz, then it will now give you a, upon starting the program, it will give you a default value of Juan de la Cruz on your input box. Okay, so the purpose of this default value right here, so it could be a guideline, like for example, input here your name, or input here your username, or put here your password. Okay, so of course you can delete that one and put there your password now or your username. Okay, like for example this one, you can put here your questions. Okay, enter quiz file name to open, so like questions that text. Okay, and then it will now be stored onto the uh, f name, okay, or the file name. All right, okay, so are we clear so far for this input box? Did you guys get the idea so far? So again, for the message box, you can only retrieve 1 to 7, and then you can do anything onto that 1 to 7 value. Okay, so basically we only have 7 conditions for the message box, but in string, so we have a lot, okay, depending on your program. What important is this will store a string, so any inputs that you'll put here will be stored under this specific variable. Okay, all right, so still have 9 minutes left. So let's try to have an example with the message box using this board retry and ignore. Let me create a new one. And I'll save this one inside Visual Basic branching. Okay, just that folder. And then I'll name this one OK cancel button. Ah, not button. MSG box. Okay. All right. So let's create a simple uh, interface. Just a button for now. And then we're going to display the value. On a label. All right. So what about two message box? All right. So I think of an idea. So this will be size 35. Uh, all right. And let's have a question. Are you single? And do you have a son or daughter? Maisip eh. Okay. And then we're going to display the answer of that person on the label 1 and the label 2. So basically, it's like, asking a question. Okay. And then if you click that one, he's basically answering this question. So this will display, let's declare a variable bmx as integer. So this is where we are going to display the value, name x is the integer, and then x is equal to msg box. So the first one is the message, are you single? And then the next one is message box style. Since I'm not quite familiar with the value, that question followed by last message box style, uh, yes no style, that yes no. And then the third one is the title. Okay, so question number one. Oops, and close at one, number one. Okay, there you go. And then if he answered uh, yes, then we will receive 6. So here, if x is equal to 6, then label is equal to uh, yes, I am, oops, yes, label 1 the text. Yes, I am single. But if he chose the option no, then we will receive else if x is equal to 7, then label 1 the text. Now it's lagging. My laptop is lagging. Oh, okay. Else do nothing. Okay. So here is the button 1, and then for the button 2, we'll copy the same. Still have 4 minutes. Copy the same concept, but instead of are you single, do you have a son or daughter? Do you have son or daughter? Yes, I have. No, I don't. And third one is do nothing. And instead of label 1, this is now labeled. Alright, so let's test this one. Yeah. So are you single? If I click yes, then yes, I am single will be displayed right here. But if I click this one and then I chose no, then no, I am not single. So the same with this one, do you have a son or daughter? My bad. This is question number 2. So I wasn't able to change the title. So if I click no, no, I don't. Okay. If I click yes, yes, I have. All right, so that's basically it for the message box. So quite the same with the input box. So if you're going to change this one into input box, so let's try that one. We still have 2 minutes. Input box. The first one is the message. The third one, I mean the second one, that is the title. And then let's say we don't have a default value. So in here we don't have if. We don't need those if right here. So we'll just display the result on the label 1. Okay. Oops. I wasn't able to change the uh, message. Are you single? But anyway, so anything will do. And then if I click OK, oops, why do we have an error? systems conversion from string. Integer kasi to. This one should be string. Okay, because we have put in there string. Okay, so anything, and then it will be displayed right here. Okay, so yeah, there you go for the message box and for the input box. Did you guys get the idea so far? Okay, so at the reason why I keep on asking idea, I'm not saying did you guys understand everything. So I am not expecting you guys to understand everything. So just at least get the idea. Okay, so that once you have encountered something, how this message box or input box work. Okay, as long as you know the flow. Well, of course, for the syntax, it's quite difficult. But once you've created a lot of projects, you will know the correct syntaxes for the string. So it needs quotation, and then for the integer, it doesn't need quotation, and so on and so forth. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's it for the module 8. So this coming Tuesday, we'll discuss the module 9. Okay. So if you have a question, so just raise your hand, and if you don't have a question, just give me a thumbs up, and you guys may now go since we don't have enough time anymore. And thank you guys for coming.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye.
Picture.
Thank you.